I think you're going to find in the next few years a new life. It's going to be different. Some of you were born out of the US. The culture is different. The language is different. You come to a strange country, and some people don't look at the same way that we do with each other. I think it's very important for you to know that you are going to change others' lives. One day, if just one of you saves someone else's life, then I'm part of you, and I'm part of that person. And it's important to me to know that you want to do that. I've had very successful in my life from business. I came out of college in the year 1960. I wanted to be a somebody, but I didn't know what a somebody is. I wanted to be somewhere that I haven't been to, and I want to meet people that I haven't met. Life sometimes is frightening. I can only imagine what it must be for me to learn a new life in a new country with new people, with a new language and a new culture. And it can be frightening, but it also can be exciting because, like it or not, starting in my parents' generation, they all came here too. And all of us went through the same problems. When I was 17 years of age, I wanted to save the world. Today, the world is such a terrible place. I don't want to change the world. I want to change others' lives. And the way that you're going to do it is through the medical field. Whether you are a caregiver, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a practitioner, whatever it is, the medical field is the only field that I believe is a privilege to be in the medical field. You will see things and you will hear things that most of us could ever possibly imagine. I say education is everything. But the most important thing in your life, as far as I'm concerned, is about people, about caring about other people. I've seen a world when I was only a little boy. My grandparents were slaughtered by the Nazis. I've seen terrible prejudice. I think it's so horrible to understand why one person can't be a nicer person. I've just met you. I don't have any problems with any of you. I'd like to say hello. If I could say something nice, I would say something nice. But I have respect for others and for myself. This is going to be a new life for all of you. And the thing that's most important, the most important thing is care about the other person. I know people who are tremendously wealthy, and they're not nice people. I've known people who've had $1 and half a loaf of bread, and they would give you half of that bread for that dollar. Don't give up against yourself, and don't quit about everything. It's hard. It gets harder. when I was 17 or 18, 19, God, how hard that must have been to be 19. Well, I had to worry about taking a test or learning how to drive a car. Weren't these terrible problems? And when you look back to it and say, oh my gosh, it was like a party. We have to all live with each other. That is why the world is sick. When I was 6 or 7 years of age, I could walk by myself from my parents' little rented house into our school. No one ever had any gangs. We didn't know about that. I never heard of anyone getting shot in a school. I never heard about that. Drugs? I think drugs are where you go to when you don't feel well, they go to this place called a drugstore and they give you something. But I never heard about that. My parents gave me a certain type of values. And one of them is you have to have for respect. If you can't give it to others, you will never have it for yourself. Now, I want to get to know all of you. I want to come back down to school after a while here and see you guys are all doing. And most of all, I want to know if there's anything I can do to make it better for all of you. I could tell a lot about my life. To me, I wasn't bred to be talking about myself. But I've had a tough time, but I've had a much, much better time. And the kind of things that you've had that have been tough will make you a better person. But never, never quit. When you are dead, you can quit. Now, what I would like, because this is what I enjoyed, I would like to know if you have to ask any questions about me. And before you do, I am a very honest person. If you ask a question, I will give you an honest answer, and I have no secrets. Anyone like to ask me about anything? Yes. Let me first ask, are you from Guatemala?
Yeah.
I knew it. I just knew it. Okay.
I have a quick question. Have you ever had a medical emergency before?
Have I ever? It's the tech time is
asked,
what kind of art?
have you ever had?
The sound is not coming to me. Dare I say I'd like you to know me, and when I can't hear you, tell me what you're saying. Can someone closer to me? Maybe your sound is off. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Better, yeah.
Okay. He asked if you've ever had a medical emergency.
Louis, have you had a medical emergency?
A medical emergency?
Yeah.
You mean personally?
Yes. Tell her about your stroke.
I would say all right, let me put it that way. In August of 2006, I was diagnosed with cancer, kidney cancer. And I was told that I would lose my kidney, but because a friend of mine, another doctor, met me to a new doctor who took a new type of procedure. Instead of using a scalpel, he used like a microwave, like you would put inside a sausage inside a microwave. And they did the procedure and you go home the same day. And I totally have had no cancer since 2006. So you want to call that an emergency? I don't know. Probably the worst thing for me, and I've only had 1 or 2 medical problems. In January of this year, 2022 rather, at 4:15 in the morning, I fell off my bed. And I heard a lot of noise from falling down, and my wife's in another bedroom. came over and said, "What's the matter? Get up, get up." I could not get up. Now, I'm a former United States Marine, and I could think I can get up a bed. I couldn't do it. But the worst thing was, I could not speak. I sounded like this. What? And why couldn't my wife understand me? Because it didn't make sense. We had the EMT people came. They took me to the hospital, to the stroke ward. They knew I was getting a stroke. And my wife said to the doctor, "Can we just wait 1 second so we can call our family doctor, letting us know what's happening?" And the doctor from the stroke looked at me and said to my wife, "Mr. Bershad, you don't have a minute." I was that close to making it. About an hour or so, I was in a stroke in ICU, and I could walk. My legs were fine, my arms were fine, but I can't speak. And I remember sitting in this dark hospital room, and it was very cold, and someone opens the door, and a nurse comes over to me and said, "Mr. Bershad, you've had a stroke. I am your nurse, Mrs. Francis, and we will go this way together." And I looked at her and moved my hand to the left so she'd come to the left side of my bedroom. And I looked at her eyes because there was no speech, but she knew. And I knew. And I was told probably would not speak again. After 2 weeks being in the stroke ward, a doctor who worked at this hospital said, "Mr. Bershad, if you do everything right, after 3 months, you might get half of your speech again." And I looked at the doctor, and I remember saying, and I sent like this then, "Doctor, I was in the Marines, and we don't quit." Well, what happens? I was very lucky. I found a wonderful, wonderful, half human, half angel lady who became my speech therapist. And I am now better than 90%, and that's as far as you can go. Now, if it wasn't the nurses, the doctors, the speech therapist, what would I do? I remember saying in the very beginning, after the stroke, in my home, when the speech therapist listens and tries to teach me the lessons, she looked at me and said, "Mr. Bershad, what is this?" And she gave me a comb, a plain black comb. I mean, I've seen that my whole life. And she said, "What is it?" I mean, how could that be hard, right? And I looked at it, and I didn't know what it was. And worse, I couldn't say the word. Come. She said it again over and over. After my second, third lesson, I came back, sat down. She looked at me. She said, "What is this?" And I looked at it and I said, "This is a comb." And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, make a big sentence out of it." I can't tell you how that meant. I have a chance. I have a chance. I want all of you to understand this, because I get it I'm an emotional guy. I feel about people and I think about people, and I have a gift. I don't know how I got it, but I have a gift. I can express myself in my words inside my heart. Everyone can feel your heart, but very few of us can speak about it. I have that gift. I remember and stood up in front of our dining room where we were doing our speech therapy. And I just looked up and I said, it's not me. I don't know this man. I don't know what happened to him. It's not me. And the only thing I wanted to do for 6 months of trying to learn how to speak again, what I wanted more than anything was to come back to College of Marin and to speak to kids in the business, drama, and nursing schools where I give scholarships. And that was the goal. That was the only thing. I didn't know if I could do it. I went back, and it was a miracle, a miracle. So I know what it is to have something and have a dream and maybe taken away from you and finding another dream. Remember this, I was distressed about it, yes. Did I cry about it a little? Yes, I did. But I never quit. And that's what I want all of you to understand that. All of you will make it. And I want all of you to know, if I can do anything to help all of you, you let me talk to the professor here, and we'll get to know better. And I have a few ideas that I'd like to discuss with the professor when time's right. So I know it was a long question. I don't even remember the answer, but I know you understand how I feel, because I'm with you guys. Remember that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Louis, thank you. We'll definitely get back to you with a response from students, and we look forward to seeing you again.
And someday, if the next time someone comes to me and says, Louis, where are you from? I'm going to say, Guatemala. God bless and all you, my friends. Via con Dios.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.